Thank you, Mark, for those kind words. If you were looking for Richard this morning, he's not here. So you got the short straw, I think is what that's called. Normally what elders say to preachers is, look, here's what we're looking for. We want a really strong beginning, we want a strong ending, and not much in between. Good thing I'm not a preacher, because it doesn't really apply to me. I think you're going to find the message today timely. A lot of people are hurting. A lot of people are in pain. The pandemic has just made it so much worse. Little Carter comes up with the craziest things, our grandson. So he's got this hand-me-down iPad, and I want you to remember he's 3.5. And there's a program there you can take a picture and it distorts it, and he just has the best time. And so on this one, it really zoomed in and got real granulated, and his mom said, "What was that all about?" He says, "Mommy, I must have passed out." But another time, she looked at him, he had a funny look on his face, and she said to him, "What does that look for?" And he says, "A hard smell." I don't know what that's about, a hard smell, but I'm going to tell you the lesson today is it's going to be a hard lesson for me to share with you, because there's two illustrations here. One is from my own life, and one is from Job, and I never feel comfortable putting myself in the same sentence with Job, because I'm not worthy to tie his shoes. But the premise here, and I'm going to see if I can do this right. I have to start off correctly. I remember I was in the doctor's office. This is 2015. And he had called and said he had tests back for me on cancer. Oh boy. Barbara wanted to know, do you want me to go with you? Look, I don't have cancer. I don't have anything. The healthiest person you'll ever meet. So, no, you're not going to come with me, because it's bad enough I'm wasting my time. I'd done a lot of research. I didn't have any other risk factors. There's no history in our family, but my doctor insisted. And there's always a lot of false positives with this. So I'm sitting across from him. I'm very ill-prepared mentally. And just very casually, it just rolls off his tongue. "You got cancer." My jaw hit the table. I don't know if he heard that or not. And then he's just, again, very casually telling me it's pretty advanced, and it really has eliminated a lot of options, and he continues on and on. And I get up, I thank him. We decide that we'll get back together at some point. And we've got to come up with a strategy. I walk into the hallway, and this is so unlike me, but the previous 7 years had just been a train wreck. I don't know what else to tell you. I just look up at the ceiling and I say, "God, why? I can't believe this." Unfortunately, there was a lady at the end of the hall also going to the elevator. She looked a little paranoid. But the question is not, why do bad things happen to good people? It's the wrong question on a couple different levels. Job asked the same question of God. And again, we're going to be talking to facts in the Bible. This isn't a lot of opinion here. I think we can really put together some meat for you that you can leave with, some tools that will help you. God didn't answer Job. I got news for you. He doesn't owe you an answer. And Job was he was a perfect guy. All this was happening to him. He was angry, he wanted to know why. We can't answer that definitively. But on another level, I got to figure out how I'm going to do this here. On another level, I think I know what I can do. Dale, I hope I'm not going to mess you up. Bear with me 1 second, everyone. I set it right here. So if it falls and breaks, the church is going to probably not pay for that. So I just wanted to include that disclaimer there. On another level, when I'm walking down that hallway and I'm saying, why me? It sounds a lot like it's about me. It's not about me. What? It's not about me. Are you serious? No, it's not about me. Been there, done that. Me, turns into a big pity party. It's not what it's all about. But there's something else that we're going to talk about. 3 simple lessons. We're insufficient without God. We'll learn that today. Certainly Job learned that. I've learned that. And then we're going to see the futility of material things. And we're going to see that life is a test. But really, it's all wrong. The premise is all wrong. We're told that the pinnacle of life's lessons, experiences, it's a mountaintop experience. Martin Luther King Jr., I have a dream. I've been to the mountaintop. I've seen the promised land. Reference to Moses. Moses was taken by God. I don't know if I can say this right. I like saying it though. Puts him on the top of Mount Piscopo, and he gets to see the promised land. And the view has got to be tremendous. It's got to be exhilarating. But it's all wrong. It's all wrong. The value is in the valley. God has a process for this. Again, this is facts. This isn't opinion. This isn't according to Mark. It's not bad, though, according to Mark. Hosea 2:15. Poor Hosea. God is asking him to act out the infidelity of his people, God's people. And that whole thing is tough, to say the least. But in Hosea 2:15, God gives us a little bit of an insight into the process. He's going to make his people go through the valley of Achor. Trouble. Achor. Trouble. They're going to go through a valley. It's a process. Transforming process. There's the values. So instead of why, me, the real question is, what are you teaching me, God? What are you trying to get me to learn? Or what is the value of the valley? And that's today's lesson, title, The Value of the Valley. Originally, got to give credit where credit is due, originally preached by Richard Rogers, a longtime warrior in our kingdom, who's been called home. Also a long-term professor at Sunset. And this is my adaptation of his sermon. So as I'm sharing with you my story, I'm hoping I'm not going to get this look. My therapy dog, I mean, come on. Yeah, there's a lot there. But, you know, it's tough to get good help today. And it is going to be challenging what I'm going to be sharing with you. So Mark gave you a little bit of my background, and I left really all the work and everything out of it for a reason. I didn't want to duplicate it. But my mountaintop experience was amazing and horrific. The ascension to the mountain started right out of school. I had a lot of job offers. Very blessed. Company moved me to California, got married shortly after that. Had wonderful son, have 2 beautiful daughters, awesome son-in-law, and an awesome grandson. Exceptional career. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. God has just blessed me in a significant way. We owned several Subway restaurants for a long period of time, had a beachfront condo in Pacific Beach, California, great wife. On the material end of things, just incredibly blessed. So I want to quickly move through this. I was recruited. I was a sales manager at the time in Los Angeles. And I was recruited along with my boss. My boss was a general manager. This was for an electronics distributor. So we supply hardware to the high-tech industry. High-tech industry, it's boom and bust, I got to tell you. It just blow in, blow up, blow out, pretty unstable. This company that recruited us had seen better days. It's a company that had been around a long time, but they had just ran it into the ground. I mean, it was pathetic. And I think we knew that, my boss and I, going in. And sure enough, the owner has always been very consistent. It's a privately held company. One man owns this. When I started, we were less than 10 million, pretty much a regional. We grew to $500 million when I left, and all of North America and headed to China at the time. And we turned around LA in a spectacular way. So he gives us Arizona, and that's broke. So we get that turned around. He gives us Texas, get that turned around, Northern Cal. Now he's based out of Boston, so he's East Coast. Now we have the entire Western US, and we continue to grow it. And when we were recruited, because of the instability of high tech, we decided, we just may not have a retirement. The way that companies are buying each other and consolidating and merging, I don't know about the long-term stability. So my boss and myself, her husband, Barbara, the 4 of us were good friends, researched companies. Again, this is just as we're being hired to this other company. And her husband was going to be the operating partner. And we bought a Subway restaurant in LA. And that continued to grow. And the idea was, so if electronics goes away, we have the Subway to fall back on. So you have 2 different streams of revenue. One of them is going to work out, I'm sure. God just blessed me, blessed us, and both areas it grew. Now, my boss wants to retire, okay, so if you're retiring, what does that mean on the other side? Your husband's retiring too. I got this. It's going to be a lot, but I've got this. She retired. We spent 2 years preparing for me to take over as basically general manager for half the company. And the owner steps in at the last minute. He says, I'm not going to allow that. It's like, oh man, Bob, are you serious? Everything is in alignment. He says, Mark, I want you to be the vice president over the whole thing. It's like, minor problem. My counterpart is there in the East. Don't worry about him. Don't worry about him. And sure enough, something happened there. So I took over the whole thing. Paul, our operating partner for the Subways, retired. So I brought up a general manager. We brought up a general manager to run the Subways. God continued to bless us. Finally, it got to be too much. I mean, I'm on a plane a lot. I've got over 2 million miles with just American Airlines, and probably another million with 6 other airlines. Half doesn't even exist today. And then you have all these restaurants, which, by the way, they're all cash. The problem with all cash, it can walk off. There's challenges with that, and liability galore. liability because you're dealing with the public. You have minimum wage employees. You're dealing with food safety, slip and falls, on and on and on. You can't be an absentee owner. I'm sorry, you can't. So Barbara and I prayed and prayed and prayed and prayed. We said, okay, I think, we don't know. But God probably wants us to just do the subway. It's less travel. Do the subways, be home, have a life, because the electronics job is just like 80, 90 hours a week on a plane. So I gave notice, and the owner didn't take it too well. I mean, there's literally silence on the phone for the longest time. It's like, Bob. I said, Bob, look, we're big on succession planning. That was one of the hallmarks for us, really focused in on it. We had everything covered. Bob, we're not going to miss a beat. You're good. You're going to see that this is going to work out quite well. And he wouldn't take no. This went on for 2 weeks. That was kind of my notice, but if I had to give a month at that level, no problem, that's common. Continue to go on. After 2 months, I said, Bob, I gotta get going here, sorry. I got my success, we're all ready to go. He says, Mark, I want to make you the president. Okay. I want you to move back to Boston. That's where our headquarters are. I know you're in California. I think it always worried him, a guy in LA, surfer dude, running the company, sales and marketing, and they're in Boston. So I said, Bob, let me get back with you. So we thought about it, we prayed, and how can we do that? Our kids are in high school. I mean, they're at really a critical time. It's not a good idea. So Bob, tell you what I'm going to do. I'm not going to say no. I'm going to say not right now. It's not good timing for us. I just can't. I could have commuted. I do have some friends that get on a plane Monday morning and fly across the country to a job that they work all week. They're in a hotel. And they fly back Friday night. No, not going to do that. But Bob, in a couple years, let me just get the kids, let us get them through high school, and it's not a problem. So that's 2015. 2018, actually early 2017, I'm in his office, I'm in the owner's office. By the way, he's very personal, but not with his private life. Okay, he's very friendly, but like a lot of entrepreneurs, the private life is off limits. I mean, so again, we had a great relationship, but I'm sitting in his office and he's in bad shape. Clearly, he's in bad shape. It looks like he's depressed, he's down, and what he was about to tell me was just a stunner. Shared with me that his home, he had an electrician out and they were doing a lot of work and they're adding on, and you're always adding on, I guess, at that level with that kind of money. And there was some kind of short and it burnt the house down. I don't know what kind of relationship he had with his wife, but I think that really created some angst, some pressure, and now his wife is leaving him. His house burns down, his wife's leaving him. By the way, my daughter is in the mental institution. My son, I haven't heard from in years. He's sharing all this with me. I tried not to look like that therapy dog. It's like, oh, wow. I said, Bob, you're in my thoughts, you're in my prayers. That's late 2017, early 2018. Bob wasn't coming to work. I'm the second in command. I'm not hearing from Bob. I'm running his company. I'm not hearing from him. He went dark. Long story short, it created a power vacuum. And his brother, is a family-owned business, his brother, I had been promoted over several years earlier, was in the business. and very insecure. So next thing you know, I'm being asked to resign. I'm thinking, and resign is a key word here. They were worried. It had to look like a resignation because I was a popular leader. It's more than that, though. I had hired all the managers over the years, all the managers, save 2. So this is my team. If I went to a competitor, it'd be very bad. So they were beyond nervous, purely political at the best. I said, you know what? I'm okay with this. It doesn't seem right, but I'm okay with this. It's been a good 20 years here, and we've got a lot of stuff done, and I'm okay with this. I never said a negative word about Bob, the company, Alan, his brother. We were so large, we really dominated this niche that we were in. So our suppliers were key for us. If you're a distributor, extension of you as your suppliers. I had a great relationship with our suppliers. They're very nervous. I think we were probably their largest customer. So they're calling me up, and I would tell them, you know what? Company is going in another direction, and I think it's a good thing. A little fresh air. It's like going down the freeway, rolling down the window. It's a good thing. And that's what I shared with them, and quietly stopped communicating. I went on and opened up wasn't ready to retire. I opened up a luxury real estate brokerage in Newport Beach, and one business wasn't enough for me. I opened where I actually bought a bunch of Jack in the Boxes that were really in serious trouble. And this is just before the Great Recession. And there's a reason they call it the Great Recession, because it was unprecedented. It shook the financial stability of our entire economy. We didn't know if all the banks were going under. Credit freezed up. It crushed any small businesses out there, crushed them. So this is what it looks like. Your sailboat is leaving harbor. You don't have one sail up. You have 2. And a hurricane hits. It killed us financially. I don't know what to tell you. Just drained us. We got out from underneath that with nothing. We were able to sell the real estate business. We were able to sell the subways, but it totally drained us. Again, I never like using my name in the same sentence with Job, but I'm remembering in 2015, Job, I think I'm better off. I've got my health, I've got my family. And then found out that I have prostate cancer. 2 weeks later, I injured my rotator cuff, not in a little way, in a big way. So I tore several tendons, which meant that's another surgery. So early January 2016, I had one surgery to fix the rotator cuff, and I had a second surgery 2 weeks later that took care of the prostate. They removed the prostate. 2 weeks later, it's a Wednesday night, and I'm in this chair. I can't sleep in the bed because of my shoulder. I'm in this chair that kind of lounges. Eric bought this for me, my son. It's kind of cool. It had velour, it's soft. It was the only way I could sleep at night. Barbara's going to church. I can't go to church. I'm still recovering. She says, "Are you okay?" I said, yeah, I got a little something in my side, but I'm okay. And when you do these orthoscopic surgeries, they fill you full of air. So it could be pleurisy or something. And when you're at that stage of having health challenges, it could be a lot of things. Who knows? But as long as you're not passing out or spitting up blood or anything like that, you're okay. By midnight, it was really almost impossible to take a breath. My lungs, as I was breathing in the air, it hurt so bad. And like a dummy, Barbara's sleeping. I didn't want to bother her. What were you thinking on that deal? You call 911, you get the ambulance there, because what was happening is a blood clot had come up from my leg. And as my GP would say, it went through my heart, and that should have killed me. She was really convinced that should have killed me. It didn't. It ended up in my lung, and that could have killed me, and it didn't. But early that morning, I went to Barbara and I said, I'm really in a lot of trouble here. I need for you to get me to emergency. And they got me in there, and as soon as they found out that I just had 2 surgeries, they knew exactly what was going on. They got me on blood thinner. Then I had a second surgery on my shoulder. This is in the spring because I had frozen shoulder, which happens. I was doing therapy almost every day, but sometimes scar tissue. So I had another surgery. That summer, the PSA levels were jumping. So what that meant, wait, you don't even have a prostate. How is that possible? Well, it's possible if they didn't get all the cancer. Cancer's doing well. It's having a party there. It's doubling every few weeks. Started out very small, microscopic PSA levels. Now it's doubling. What do we need to do? Radiation, 8 weeks, 40 treatments. Okay, I'm exhausted. Let's put that out towards the end of the year. August, get a call from, by the way, I had 13 doctors. I'm not exaggerating, 13 doctors. Get a call in August. Mark, on those scans, we're finding something big on your kidney. He said, you don't really need both kidneys. And I asked him, I said, well, why do you have 2 kidneys? He didn't know. But you're going to need to see the surgeon because most likely it's cancerous. Okay, so we've got late November, we've got radiation, and so, you know, Merry Christmas. I'll be having another surgery and they're going to remove part of my kidney. I don't think anyone had any idea where this was at, other than Barbara. I couldn't share it with our kids. I felt so bad. Our poor daughter in Texas, now if she got a phone call, what is it? What is it? She's got PTSD. What's wrong with Dad? What's going on? Felt horrible. So I get through the radiation, and the radiation specialist is saying, Mark, you know, you're going to feel tired, pain, Doc, I can't. I got to stay focused. I got to stay mentally strong, okay? Got through the radiation and got the surgery done, removed part of the kidney. They did get it all. That's good. Partial nephrectomy. That's what they call that. So, unbelievable. And again, this is all during a time that I'm trying to get back on my feet financially. How is that possible? Well, the short answer is it's not possible. Oh, there's another surgery here. I had a detached retina. So I had another surgery, and they had to go in and they had to reattach the retina. So that is the valley experience for me. But Job had an incredible valley experience. He had everything, and then he lost everything. But what's so remarkable about Job, who does this? When you lose everything, who says, the Lord giveth, the Lord taketh away. Blessed be the name of the Lord. That is telling us he is something special. Job is absolutely a remarkable guy. Satan is very consistent. Satan tends to use the things that work well for him over and over and over. Right in the very beginning, Adam and Eve, he divided them. Sorry, Dell. He divided them, and he's been using division ever since. COVID, the vaxxers versus the anti-vaxxers. In our own churches, we have Satan rearing up division. But in this case, Satan came to God. God said, "You see my man Job." This is after he lost all of his material things along with his 10 children. "You see my man Job." This is what he's saying, Satan. God. And again, the relationship, I don't understand, but we have to realize there is some type of symbiotic relationship between God and Satan. Satan says, "You know what? Yeah, this isn't fair. You have drawn a hedge around him. He just lost everything. He lost 10 kids. Let me take away his health. And then you're going to see the real deal." So just like with me, Satan starts off, he takes everything, and then if that's not working, he'll take your health. And he did that with Job. So Job is in the valley. He's got some lessons to learn. Job is learning that without God, we're nothing. He's learning material possessions mean nothing. And he's learning life is a test. And I like that scripture reading earlier. It talked about God not being there when they were looking for God. I don't think that happens to us today, but when we're going through our trials, we're going through the valley, it feels like God isn't there. Where are you, God? Where are you? During a test, the teacher is silent. Right? That absolutely happens. This is what Job is learning. How do we get out of the valley? So we have to wait. When you're in a lot of pain, Isaiah 40:31, when you're in a lot of pain, the last thing you want to hear is you have to wait. A small example, you hit your thumb with a hammer and the pain can't stop quick enough. Israel knows a little bit about the valley, and they don't want to wait anymore. It's 70 years that they've been in the valley. It's time to get out of the valley. So Israel, at this point, we got good news, we got bad news. Good news is you're going home. You're going home. The bad news is home is 1,000 miles away, literally. The planes aren't working. There's no cars. Buses aren't running. Uber's not answering. How are we going to do that? On wings of eagles, as we read earlier. You can get out of the valley pretty quick on the back of an eagle. Our strength has to come from the Lord. Did you hear? Have you not heard? He doesn't get tired. Youths get tired. Young men stumble. Are you tired? You're not plugged in. The strength is here from God, but it's from one another. There's 21 one another verses in the Bible that talks about helping one another and ministering to one another. It's so critical. I had, from our earlier congregation, I had one of our sisters in Christ telling me everything that she was going through and just a lot of troubles and problems, and her mom wasn't doing well and she wasn't going to church. I always think that's a little odd. You're struggling, you're having troubles, so you stop coming to church. So the challenge there is you're in a funk, you're confused, and your mindset isn't clear. So if someone has offended you at church, or you don't like this, you don't like that, you stop going. You're getting away from the flock. 1 Peter 5:8. Your adversary, Satan, he's prowling like a roaring lion with a flock or someone that's off by themselves, maybe entangled with bad thinking, entangled in a bush. What do you think's going to happen? You need your brothers and sisters in Christ. Your shepherds are going to give an accounting for your soul. It's clear. It's in the Bible. They don't know what's going on in your life. They can't help you. So it's okay to ask for help. We've got to focus in on what we can do. Spending time in the Word, spending time in prayer. And this is a hard lesson for me because of pride. Nothing more, nothing less. Pride is telling me, Mark, don't open up like this. Or maybe that's Satan telling me. But why have I gone through all this if I can't share it? If others can't benefit? The key takeaways for us is wait on the Lord. Sometimes that's all you can do is to wait on the Lord. Do we understand that your faith is a workout? It's exercise. It's okay. Philippians 2:12. I love how Paul says this. With fear and trembling. It's a workout. When I go to the gym, it's no joke. I was there this morning. I'm sweating. It's strenuous. No pain, no gain. Your faith is a workout. It's okay to exercise it. A clear perspective is very important here. When I'm saying, why God? Why? Do you think really God is doing that? Did God do this in Job? Let's go to the facts. No speculation. No. God didn't do it. Satan did it. Don't get mad at God. It's a very bad place to be. And I think we've all been there, truth be told. Because truth be told, life is more valleys than it is mountaintop experiences. So we've all been angry with God. It's so apropos that we're right next to the mountain here, Camelback. Psalms, the key for us, 121, 1 through 3, my eyes look to the mountain. Where does my strength come from? It's coming from God. If you allow it, it will transform you. I got a tidbit here. Worth, price of admission. We're almost done. So Job, we know he had a tremendous relationship with God. And we know he was the greatest man in the East. Even God thought he was righteous. But do you realize, after the valley, I want you to check this out. In Job 42:5, Job is confessing, I have heard of you by the hearing of the ear, but now my eyes see you. Transformation, bam. Job has a whole different relationship, whole different outlook with God. Certainly, I've been transformed through this whole thing. I'm a piece of work. I'm a work in process. I'm not done. God's not done with me. My outlook on death is very different today. And my doctor gave me a good verbal shaking because she misinterpreted the fact that I'm not afraid to die. In fact, I wanted to die through this whole thing a couple times. Almost died, came very close. Her job is to keep me alive. She's interpreting this as I'm being cavalier. I'm being flippant about death. I'm not. I'm okay to get called home. The key for us, if you're still here, he's not done with you. I wanted to die. I think it'd be perfectly okay to go home. I can't make that call. You will not make that call. Your doctor is not going to make that call. Satan isn't going to make that call. There's one person, God, will make that call when you're going to go home. It's his prerogative. He created you. He brought you into this world. I think he's going to let you know when it's time to go home. If you're still here, it simply means he's not done with you. If you're still here, it's time to get to work. And what this whole thing has all been about this morning Philippians 2:13, for it is God who works in you. Why is all this happening? In order to fulfill his good purpose. It's about God. He's not done with us. He's allowing us to work for his good purpose. And when we do that, everything resonates. I'm going to finish up, and what I want to do is just let you know how to get in touch with that strength. If you're a Christian, maybe the valley has worn you down. My favorite scripture is Psalms, the 23rd Psalm. Though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. If Satan has really beat you down and you're not at a place where you want to be, you can't give up and you can't allow yourself to become bitter. Satan is trying to do those things to you. Don't allow it. So I'm going to share with you this morning, if you are a Christian, you need to recommit. You need to be focused. Don't get away from the body. If you're not a Christian, today is the time to come forward and become a Christian. Get in touch with Christ's blood. We have so many opportunities here to help one another, but we have to be focused going forward. I want to thank you for your time and your patience. Shall we stand as we sing?